Hello everyone. Here we'll wait till more people join so that we can start the session. Hello Varun. Hello Udit. Hello Crits. I'll answer all your queries. Just wait for some people to join. Hello Manish, Manthan, Jash, Harshil, Nikita, and hello Learn for Exam. Hello Gurmeet sir. Hello Vivek. Yes, we'll talk about GK kits also. Let's just wait for a couple of minutes more. We'll start the session. Okay, so here we go. So my name is Vipul Chenani, and I'm pursuing HR here in Scmhrd. I scored 99.1375 percentile last year, that is in Snap 2017. I'll answer all your queries one by one. So what I'll tell you what this session will comprise about. So we'll talk about the strategy to clear Snap. We won't divulge too deep into one particular section. Rather than we can just focus on what overall strategy should be, because while writing Snap, I felt that it is a much different exam than the rest of the exams that we enroll in, such as CAT or ZET or IFT. So yes, so general strategy we will talk about. So we already know that there are four sections in Snap. So first is verbal, second is GK, then you have Quant and Di, and then there's fourth is logical reasoning. First, let's just yes, it is different than NMET Vishrut. So we'll talk about how is it different and what should be the strategy for it. Let's just start with say verbal section. In all the sections of Snap, I would suggest you follow a basic strategy, that is you go from easy to hard questions, because and like my strategy for CAT, I am saying my strategy for CAT was to look at say RCs. Okay, when we are talking about the verbal section, we talk about RCs, say. So I used to look at all the RCs first, all the 5 or 6 RCs depending on what the exam has, and then I used to decide, okay, this one is easier, so I'll go for this. Then this one is, bit more tougher than a tougher. But when you are talking about an exam like Snap, so it is a lot more of a speed game than a logic game. So you don't have time to look at all those RCs or all those DI or LR caselets, then you decide which one to choose. So as and when you are getting the RC, as in when you are getting the DI caselet, and as in when you are getting the LR caselet, uh, you should just try to solve as many questions as you can. So suppose I exam started, and first you saw there's a RC, so you just try to look at it, okay, and then you saw, okay, I can solve this question. You can just go and on and solve those questions. So it is more of a speed game, so don't waste your time in on any particular question. So say while solving an RC, there are say 5 questions in a RC caselet, and you feel that you have solved 3 of them, but other 2 you're apprehensive about. So mark those 2 questions as to see you'll solve them later. So there's the purple mark for that. So you'll solve them later, and then you can solve those 3 questions and move on to different questions. So move from easy to hard questions. How will you go? So, and I'll say you go you all the questions that are there in verbal section, you have a first look at them, and in the first look you can solve all the easy questions. Then on the second time you can solve all the medium questions, and then you can, and the third time you can solve all the hard questions that are there in the exam. This will save your time actually. uh, then when we talk about the quant and di section, again same strategy, easy to hard questions. Suppose say basic arithmetic is given, basic logarithmic is given, basic trigonometry. You should, by now when the cat is over, you, I am hoping that you know about the basic trigonometry rules, such as if the 30 degree के सामने what would be the side, what would be the proportion of 30 60 90, what would be the proportion of 45 45 90 degree angles. Basic logarithmic functions you should know, basic graphs, functions and graphs you should know. Such as you don't waste time in at that time thinking about those concepts. You should, they should be in your brain. And also you, by now you should be knowing the percentage to fraction conversion, because when I was writing a snap I thought that lot many times I found that okay, it is a basic function. Suppose if I know suppose a certain number is first increasing by 20% and then decreasing by 10% and then again increasing by 20%. So you should know, if we are increasing it by 20% it is multiplied by 1.2, and if we are decreasing by 10% it is multiplied by zero point 0.9, and if you are again increasing it by 10% you know it is 1.1. So 1.1 into zero point 0.9 into 1.2, simple thing. So these are the basic percentage to fraction you should be knowing. These are very very important in exam like snap to solve a mathematical calculation. It is very important in that time. Then when you move to the lr section, again if first thing I want to say, when you're solving the quant di and lr section, don't take it on your ego that you have read that topic, you're very confident in that topic, but in the exam setup it might happen that that particular question is genuinely very difficult. So if it is difficult, or if the examiner has set it into such a pattern that it is not meant to be solved in an exam time, it is not meant to be solved in those 2 hours, you should just leave that. You should not take it on your ego. Such as you have read that topic distribution in lr, and you know that you can solve every difficult question related to the distribution topic, but now the exam is made in such a way that if you go on solving those questions, you might consume a lot more time. So please avoid that mistake, avoid taking it on your ego. Then when we talk about say gk section, see it, gk could be one of the certain topics in snap which could be a deal breaker. I'm genuinely talking, it could be a deal breaker for you, because when you're looking at those gk questions, you know, either you know those questions or either you don't. It is a matter of seconds that you know this question and you can mark it, because gk is not that tough as compared to iift or say z perhaps. So when you know that gk is not that tough, you can solve it very easily. I would suggest to keep gk as your last section, because it generally takes 5 seconds to recognize whether you know that answer or not. So you can easily in 5 seconds, you know, if you know, just mark it. If you don't know, just go ahead. Don't uh, don't mark it a chance marking, or don't do guess, because it is a very hard earned marks that you get. So if you are marking a question just because you have a hunch feeling for it, that's a very bad thing. So don't go on your guesswork, don't use hunch feelings. That's all I would say. Now, overall strategy, first thing is this: don't take it on your ego. That is very important, because I used to do it in my mocks. So don't do that. Don't take it on your ego. Second is keep calm. It might so happen that you are solving a DI caselet for 5 minutes and you are not able to get the answer. Then we think that okay, I have screwed this section already, and I have screwed this question already. I have taken up 5 minutes, so now it is not possible for me to clear the cutoffs. While you are in an exam setup, you should not take cutoffs at all. Don't think that the paper is easy, paper is hard, you're not able to solve 60 questions which you thought was the benchmark that you set before entering the examination hall. So don't set any benchmarks just because previous year, I will take my example, at 62.5 marks I scored 99.1375 percentile. So now, just because I got 62.5 marks, you have a certain kind of number in your mind. You have, this is basically the anchoring effect that you have set in your mind. So now you have anchored it. Now you know that at 60 marks I'll get 99 percentile. It is not the case, because last year around at 72 marks people got 99 percentile. So don't have any anchor in your mind, don't set a particular number. So because it might so happen, if say paper is very easy and you say you solved 80 questions, now you thought that last year at 62.5 marks people scored 99 percentile, I've already said I have already solved 80 questions. Now see, percentiles are relative thing. If it is easy for you, it is easy for everyone. It might so happen that you have solved 80 questions, and after coming out of the examination hall you think that entire universe has solved 80 questions. So but to clear that exam, you had to solve 100 questions or more. So don't set any base in your mind, don't set any thing that you know this many questions you have to solve. Now first I'll take some questions, then I'll move to what I was saying. So I'll start from the beginning. uh So first question I will take is, just a second. How much marks is required overall and GK to get selected for SIBM Pune? It is the question from Shobha Chakrabarti. See, Shobha, there are no preset marks for GK to go get into SIBM Pune or in SCMHRD. So overall marks last year was around 57, 58, or even zero point 0.5 marks more. So again, I would say don't set any base in your mind that 57, 58 you will need for SIBM or SCMHRD, because now there's practically no difference between SIBM and SCMHRD cutoffs. So you cannot really differentiate between them. Then, at what score did you get 99.13 percentile? Please tell the score. Okay, so this is the question by Sorik Paul. I scored 99.13 percentile at 62.5 marks last year. The data might change this year. So then the next question. Yes, so the number of questions decreased from 150 to 120. I think number of questions decreased from 150 to 130, Akhil already. But the overall marks are same. See, marks is same, but the questions have reduced because the theta questions that you are getting are of not 2 marks. So every section we have reduced 5 questions, but we have increased the number of marks for those, for those theta questions. So the overall marks remain same, but the questions are on 130, not 120, Akhil. Only two sections, attempting only 2 sections and scoring 65 plus, is they consider it or raise any issue for not doing a single question? Okay, so Ridu, I would say that there is no sectional cutoff for snap per se. So now you can guess the, the kind of results that snap expects from you. So when there is no sectional cutoff, obviously you can solve 2 sections and get your marks. There's no issues. You can get minus marks in those 2 questions, no issues. But the thing is, again, when you are thinking of only 2 sections, such as you are thinking about verbal and say GK section you are thinking about right now, it is nice to have those 2 sections very strong, but I would say it is not nice to entirely bank on those 2 sections, because it might so happen that snap by default sets one of the sections very difficult and is not meant to be solved, but more than 10 questions they are not expecting you to solve more than 10 questions. So when there's no sectional cutoff, snap might so do that it raises the difficulty level and it hinders you from solving more than 15 questions in any section. They can do it actually. So even if you go and solve more than 15 questions in a particular section, yes, you can solve, but it will consume more of your time. So don't totally bank on those 2 sections, I would say. But yes, you can score even minus marks in those left 2 sections. It's completely okay. What if we make a spelling mistake in special question, Anup? So I would suggest to have to write correct spelling for each question, because it might so happen that but we won't cut your marks regarding the grammar part, but I would suggest you write the right spelling for each question. Then the same question was from Sushil Sali, answered. uh, and cutoff kitna hai marks mein? This is again by Aviral Jain. So Aviral cutoffs depend every year. Last year it was 97.5 around. So you might think that it might increase this year. So we increase the cutoffs every year by tad bit, by 0.2 percentile points, say. So 97.6, 97.7 you can expect. But yes, we don't reveal the cutoffs. Then the next question is by Aditya Kovali. It says, "Sir, I'm following the rookie page. Is it a good source for GK?" Yes, I think it's a very good source for GK. We have a inquisitive series that is going on. In that, we answer for maths, LR, GK, quant. We give each type of question you can get, and you can actually earn Amazon vouchers. So only 1 week for that inquisitive is left. I would suggest you go and enroll that. And secondly, we are coming to your respective cities. We are actually covering 14 cities now, and we are taking 19 sessions in those 14 cities. The name of the event is MBA Jam with Scmhrd. In that session, we will answer your queries one on one, because I can see there are a lot of queries. I can see a lot of comments, and some of your queries are not being answered right now. I'm really very sorry for that, but we have limited time. But yes, you can come to the MBA Jam with Scmhrd event. We'll answer all your queries. We'll give you a GK